Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I want to show you how to make this beautiful Georgian bread. It's called Khachapuri. Hacha in Georgian means cheese, or I should say farmer cheese, and puri means bread. And of course, every single region in Georgia has its own recipe. Today I want to show you my version of this beautiful dish because I have a really good memories about this dish because I tried it in Georgia and mine tastes similar to what I've tried. I hope you're gonna like it. To make a dough, you're gonna need a big mixing bowl and you're gonna need 2 cups of buttermilk, 4 to 5 cups of flour. It depends on the thickness of your buttermilk. 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda that we're going to shock with just a table vinegar. In a large mixing bowl, add your buttermilk, and mine is a homemade. And it was left from making a homemade butter. If you guys want to see how I made the butter, check my video about homemade butter. To that buttermilk, we're going to add 2 eggs and 1 teaspoon of salt. And then we're going to shock the baking soda with 1 teaspoon of vinegar. We're going to mix it in. And we're going to start adding flour. So there's 1 cup goes in, and I'm using the whisk, as you can see, because the batter is still very thin, so it's easier to use the whisk for the first maybe couple cups of flour. So number 2 went in and number 3 goes in, and as you can see, when your batter is gonna start getting thicker, you can move on to your spoon. So just add your 4th cup of flour, and after that we're gonna watch the consistency. I think I'm gonna need 5th cup of flour, which I'm gonna add now, and I'm gonna move on to my hands because this way I'm gonna feel it and make sure the dough is not too thick, because this dough has to be very pliable and sort of on a thinner side. Continue kneading your dough, and the reason I was using my homemade buttermilk because the consistency of the homemade buttermilk is very close to consistency of matzoni, which is traditionally used for this recipe, which is sort of like a soured milk. We're gonna continue kneading our dough on the table surface. And in order to do that, you need to put a little bit of oil on your table surface and keep pulling and kneading your dough so it becomes more pliable. This way it creates a little bit more gluten, and it will be much easier for us to work with it. Continue kneading your dough for about 4 to 5 minutes until you feel it becomes more pliable and more silkier. At this point, we're gonna stop. We're gonna put some oil in our container, and we're gonna move our dough into container because it has to rest for about 30 minutes or so. Let's move on to our cheese filling, and I kind of figured this out. I'm gonna need something salty, something melty, and something crumbly. So for that reason, I am getting a provolone cheese, which is our salty cheese, which is gonna be similar to texture of Sulguni, which is a traditional Georgian cheese. I'm gonna use queso fresco, which is a really melty cheese, and I'm gonna use feta, which is a crumbly cheese. So I think this combination is gonna work perfect in our khachapuri. Don't add salt to your filling, just add a little bit of pepper. Add 2 egg yolks to your filling. This is gonna help our filling to be a little bit more spreadable. So when we actually gonna spread it on top of our dough, it's gonna be much more pliable. Our dough have rested, so let's make our khachapuri. We're gonna put a little bit more oil on the table, and look at this dough. It's just oozing out of this container. It's silky, it's the right consistency, I should say. And we are gonna cut it into 2 pieces because we're making 2 khachapuries. So we're gonna work with one. We're first gonna form it into a ball, and then using our hands, we're gonna just spread it out into about 10-inch in diameter bread, And we're gonna put a generous amount of that cheese filling, and from the ends we're gonna pinch all this dough in the middle, um, sort of making like a huge hinkali, which is another traditional Georgian dish. And now we're gonna turn it upside down and spread it to the 9-inch circle. Here is the reason, guys, I didn't use any flour, because I'm going to be using a cast iron skillet and I don't want the flour to burn. So we're going to put our khachapuri in a dry preheated cast iron skillet, and turn your heat down a little bit to medium, because we want this pie to bake or to cook all the way through. So, and keep checking on it, make sure it doesn't burn, keep turning it, make sure it doesn't stick. And I think it's ready. It looks absolutely beautiful. I think it's cooked all the way through. I'm gonna spread my homemade butter on top of our hot khachapuri, and I'm gonna cut myself a piece because I can't wait to try it. And look at this, guys. The dough is absolutely beautiful. It's airy, the filling is cheesy, and I hope my Georgian viewers will approve this video, because I tried really hard recreating it from my childhood memories. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.